Welcome to This Explainer. We've all absolutely been there, right? You're standing in that brightly lit appliance aisle, just staring at a sea of white metal boxes, feeling completely overwhelmed. Should you get a front-load washer or a top-load washer? Honestly, it feels like a simple choice, until you realize this one decision is going to directly impact your utility bills, your daily routine, and even the lifespan of your clothes for the next 10 to 14 years. So today, we're going to cut through the noise, break down the facts, and eliminate all that guesswork.
Okay, let's dive right into this. We're going to treat this like a tale of the tape across 5 crucial rounds: mechanics, cleaning and speed, the true cost, maintenance and lifestyle, and finally, the verdict, to help you find that perfect fit for your home.
Round 1. How these machines actually work.
Now, I want to start by asking you a question. Why does the location of the door change absolutely everything about the wash? It's not just some design aesthetic or an arbitrary manufacturing choice. No way. The door's position completely dictates the actual, physical cleaning mechanism happening inside the drum.
Take the traditional top loader, for example. Because the door is right there on top, your clothes have to be completely submerged in water. Then, a central post with fins, called an agitator, aggressively twists back and forth. It actually cleans by physically churning and rubbing the clothes against each other and against the drum. Now contrast that with the front loader. Because that drum is mounted horizontally, it doesn't even need to fill up with water. Instead, it totally relies on gravity. The drum lifts your clothes up and drops them repeatedly through this very shallow pool of water mixed with detergent. It's a much gentler tumbling action that works the soap deep into the fibers, entirely skipping that harsh mechanical friction.
Well, actually, there is a modern middle ground here too. The HE, or high-efficiency top loader. Manufacturers realize that, hey, people love the convenience of a top loader, but they also really want better efficiency. So they brilliantly replace that big, aggressive center agitator with a low-profile wash plate, or impeller, right at the bottom of the drum. This design totally bridges the gap. It uses way less water than a traditional top loader, offers a gentler wash, and it frees up a massive amount of drum capacity since that giant central post is out of the picture.
Moving on to round 2, cleaning power and wash speed.
So, the absolutely crucial point to remember is that cleaning performance largely depends on what kind of dirt you're actually fighting. If we're talking about deep cleaning, grease, ground-in dirt, or tough stains on a cloth diaper, front loaders are the undisputed champions. That gravity tumbling motion, combined with a highly concentrated shallow pool of detergent, works incredibly hard on stubborn stains. On the other hand, if you're a landscape worker or a farmer dealing with heavy, visible dirt, the traditional agitator top loader is fantastic at violently knocking loose mud off sturdy fabrics, like heavy denim. But just keep in mind, that rough churning action means you're definitely going to notice faded colors and thinning fabrics much sooner.
Now here is where the top loader has a massive, genuine edge. A standard traditional top load cycle often finishes in a brisk 30 to 45 minutes. Because a front loader uses a gentler, less water-intensive tumbling process, a standard cycle frequently takes 60 to 90 minutes just to achieve that superior clean. Think about it. If you're a parent who suddenly realizes at 9 p.m. that you need to wash a sports uniform for the big game the next morning, that quick 30-minute turnaround of a top loader is an absolute lifesaver.
All right, round 3, the true cost of washing.
I really want you to think about a massive number for a second here. 13,000 gallons. That is the high-end annual water usage for a standard agitator top loader doing about 300 loads of laundry a year. It's just a staggering amount of water. And if you live in an area with water restrictions, high utility costs, or if you're on a septic system, this isn't just an environmental issue, this is directly draining your wallet week after week.
If we break that down per cycle, a traditional top loader demands 30 to 45 gallons of water for just a single wash, because remember, those clothes have to be entirely submerged for the agitator to do its job. The HE top loader improves this significantly, using around 15 to 25 gallons. But look at the front loader. It uses a mere 13 to 20 gallons. It frequently uses less than half the water of a traditional model, and that translates to an immediate, continual reduction in your monthly utility bills.
And hey, the savings don't stop at the water tab. Energy efficiency is profoundly different here too. First off, because front loaders use less water, your home naturally uses less energy heating that water. But the real secret weapon? It's the spin cycle. Front loaders spin incredibly fast, between 1200 and 1600 RPM, compared to just 700 or 800 RPM for a standard top loader. This extreme centrifugal force extracts significantly more moisture from your clothes before you even take them out of the washer. The result? Your dryer doesn't have to work nearly as hard, easily cutting dryer time by 10 to 20 minutes per load.
So, to summarize this whole financial showdown, top loaders absolutely win on upfront cost, hands down. Basic agitator models have some of the lowest price points on the market, which is incredibly attractive if you're on a strict budget today. However, the long-term cost tells a completely different story. Front loaders are definitely more expensive to engineer and to buy initially, but thanks to those massive water and energy savings we just talked about, they effectively pay you back over their 10 to 14-year lifespan. If you do high-volume laundry, that long-term efficiency easily offsets the initial sticker shock.
Round 4. Maintenance, noise, and lifespan.
Let's talk about your physical comfort and your floor plan. Ergonomically speaking, top-load machines are fantastic because there is absolutely no bending required to load or unload them. If you have back problems, this is a massive advantage. Front loaders, well, they require you to kneel or bend down, unless you purchase a pedestal to raise it up 12 to 15 inches, which, by the way, is going to add a few $100s to your cost. But on the flip side, front loaders have a superpower for small homes. They are stackable. You can place the dryer directly on top of the washer, saving immense amounts of floor space in tight condos or closets. Top loaders, obviously because of that top opening lid, strictly require a side-by-side setup.
Okay, we have to address the elephant in the room, that notorious front loader mold myth. People always say front loaders smell musty, but the truth is that only happens with poor maintenance. Because front loaders have a heavy rubber door gasket to keep that shallow pool of water from leaking all over your floor, water can naturally pool there. All it takes is a quick wipe of the seal and leaving the door cracked open after a wash to prevent any mold. It's light, but mandatory maintenance. Top loaders just naturally air out much easier since the drum is exposed right to the top. Also, when things break, traditional top loaders have much simpler, more accessible mechanical parts, which makes repairs significantly cheaper than the complex, tightly sealed components you'd find in a front loader.
And finally, round 5. Which washer should you buy?
Let's look at the ideal front load buyer profile. You should buy a front loader if you want the absolute best deep cleaning and stain removal performance. It's for the person who is hyper-focused on long-term efficiency, wanting to slash those water and energy bills, especially if you have a high-volume laundry household. It's perfect if you live in a tighter space and really need that stackable design. And crucially, it's for the buyer who doesn't mind doing that routine light maintenance of wiping the gasket and just leaving the door open to keep it fresh.
Conversely, the ideal top-load buyer profile looks entirely different. This is for you if your top priority is keeping that upfront purchase price as low as physically possible. It's for the household that needs speed, someone who really values a fast 30-minute wash cycle for quick turnarounds. It's the perfect match if you have mobility concerns and value the ergonomic comfort of just not bending over. And it's for the buyer who wants the peace of mind of mechanical simplicity, knowing for sure that if something breaks, the repairs are going to be cheaper and easier.
So, we end with this final, provocative question. Which machine matches how you actually do laundry? Because look, both machines can easily last well over a decade, but as we've seen today, they go about their business in entirely different ways. Don't just follow the trendiest reputation or buy what your neighbor bought. Look at the space you have, your budget for the next decade, your tolerance for maintenance, and the kinds of stains you fight every single week. Match your specific lifestyle to the facts we just uncovered, and you'll make a choice you'll be happy with for the next 10 to 14 years. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer.